Hey everyone, Greg again, and welcome to the third edition of Scaling Beyond Borders up here in Livingston, Montana this week. There's this one's a little bit different. It's not just about strategy or systems I could talk about a lot, but it's actually a personal one because today I want to talk about something I've dealt with myself, and I know a lot of other founders have too. Even if we don't always say it out loud, let's get into it. I used to think burnout looked like crashing, like not being able to get out of bed or walking away from the company entirely. But for me and for a lot of other founders, it didn't look like that at all. It looked a lot like being fine, but I was still in the meetings. I was still replying to messages. I was still shipping. I was still doing all the things that a founder does, but something was off. I couldn't think clearly. That was the problem. And that was not something I was used to. And it's not something that most founders are used to. I was second guessing stuff I used to do instinctively, and my ideas felt really scattered. Everything felt heavier than it should have. And yet, everyone around me was still praising how much I was getting done. But that's actually the trap. When you're the founder, the pressure doesn't stop. Every decision, every delay, every dollar rolls uphill. You just have to keep going. And if you're good at managing pressure, maybe even proud of managing pressure, you can push through long past the point you should have paused. But the truth is, even the strongest systems crash under a constant load. What I didn't realize back then was that I wasn't tired from doing too much. I was tired because I was doing too little of what actually mattered. The bold, creative, really high leverage work that made me want to build in the first place. I barely had space for it. Instead, my days were full of the small stuff. I call them micro decisions, right? Approvals, admin, work, random Slack pings that never seem to end, chasing numbers, duct taping systems together, helping team members who needed answers only I could give, or at least I thought only I could give, because I'd built the system that way. But that kind of mental load doesn't scream at you, it just dulls you. It erodes your edge. You still function, but that cost is high. And you keep thinking, I'll rest after the next sprint. I'll rest after the next release. I'll clean this up once we hire. I just need to get through the quarter. But that after keeps moving. Here's something I've learned the hard way. You don't need to collapse to be burnt out. Most founders I know are running on a kind of quiet burnout, not dramatic, not visible, just a persistent fog that they've learned to operate in. Meetings that used to excite you, now you dread them. Decisions that used to be quick, now they sit on your plate for days. And tasks that should take 15 minutes end up stretching into an hour. Wins don't even feel like wins anymore. You start to wonder if you're the bottleneck. And most of the time, you actually are, but not in the way that most people think. You're not the bottleneck because you're bad at your job. You're the bottleneck because you're still trying to do it all. And that's the fallacy of the founder. They often confuse involvement with control. Like if I'm not personally in the weeds, things are going to slip. But that thinking, it just doesn't scale. And at some point, you have to stop owning every task and start owning outcomes. And that shift, it's a huge game changer. Because the reality is, it's not your big creative bets that drain you. It's the shallow work, the little operational fires, the inbox clutter, the endless micro decisions that end up stealing your focus and leaving you with no energy for the stuff that actually moves the business forward. When I started offloading that, when I actually gave myself permission to not be the person handling every piece, I got my thinking back. I was clearer, I was sharper, I was calmer. Not overnight, but week by week. I actually had more space to coach the team, more time to plan beyond the next fire. I wasn't running the business in panic mode anymore. And here's the thing, the return on that time really compounds. You start making better decisions. You lead with vision instead of just urgency and fear. The team grows, the business stops depending on your exhaustion to keep going. This isn't about stepping away. It's about stepping into your version of leadership of the company. It's really about your version of leadership that your company actually needs. This is one of the reasons outsourcing was built and why I invested in it. And honestly, I think it's our strongest selling point, at least the one that excites me the most. It took me too long to learn that delegation isn't something you do after you've burned out. It's something you build into the foundation of your company before things crack. You're not more valuable because you're doing more. You're more valuable when your time and attention are aligned with what actually drives impact. And if you're feeling like you're carrying too much weight right now, you're not alone. I've been there, and it doesn't have to stay that way. Being a founder is hard, but it doesn't have to be quite so heavy. So until next time, we'll see you.